Hi, and welcome to the Me Financial Podcast. I'm Michelle Moses, your host. I'm a certified financial planner, realtor, small business owner, mom, hiker, and avid reader. I started this podcast because I wanted to discuss the emotions around money and how to handle them. And today I have two guests on my show, and we are going to be talking about how to figure out what you really want. And a good example of this, that when I was talking to my friend about this podcast, is there's times where you go shopping and you might buy a dress that is the dream you, but it has no practicality in anything that you would ever wear. And as a woman, you know, it might be you have to buy a new bra or do, you know, new undergarments in order to have it fit. And we all buy these clothes with the intention of becoming this person. But really what you need are the flats and the jeans or whatever you would wear every day. So this is kind of how I came up with the idea of this, is how do you pick the financial tool? And we're going to be talking about real estate and finances, obviously, but how do you pick the financial tool that is the right one for you and not just the one that you think that you need, and that is the silver bullet. And so as a guest today, I have McDonald on the show, and he is a realtor, a dad, loves to travel. And I'm throwing this one in here. Everyone thinks he's from Ireland, but he's really from Seattle. And I think that he has the coolest name. Say hello, Padraic.
Hi, how you doing?
And then we also have Shalyn Kearny here. She is a realtor. She loves to travel and is a foodie. And I think she has the life that we all dream of because she doesn't even have pets. She can go and do whatever she wants.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I do love to travel and have not committed to getting a dog yet.
Yeah. So. But you do have some plans.
Some plans.
Yes.
A few.
Yes. And so I know Padraic and Shalyn because we all work at local luxury real estate. And I recently got my real estate license in September, and I joined this brokerage. And I love it. I think it is so awesome there. The people are just very down to earth, very friendly. And most of all, it fits with my my whole philosophy about not being sold to. Everybody there is just really into helping people find what they really want, and not just in it for the transaction. Would you agree with that?
I have a tendency to agree with that statement. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. We're all really in it to like make sure we're finding the right thing. We don't want anybody to feel like they got swindled or, you know, sold something and then feel guilty about it later on. Yeah. Okay. So I love it there. And I've met Padraic and Shalyn, and we've had some great conversations. So I wanted to have them on the podcast today to talk about how you figure out what do clients really want. And so I don't only want to talk about, because I think that there's some quizzes that you can do and there's probably some tools and things, but are there situations, and it's not that you have to always be doing this, but are there situations of conversations that have come up that have resulted in something that's been the opposite of what people thought that they needed, you know, kind of like my dress example? Because I have a ton in the financial world, but I don't have so many in the real estate world. So I thought this would be a good, you know, mix between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's our job to really dial people in on what they do want. Mm-hmm. And the spectrum starts really large. And as you start to talk and look at properties, they usually start to downsize and realize maybe, oh, I don't want a pool, or a 3-car garage
Mm-hmm.
isn't realistic. So, you know.
So do you think a lot of it comes from looking at houses, like looking online, or actually going in? Really?
Yeah. And feeling and imagining. It's
Really?
hard to imagine when you're looking at it online, you know, what the rest of your life or, you know, X amount of time is going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get them in the environment and then they realize what it means or how they feel or, you know,
Mm-hmm.
the emotions it brings up, that's when.
Really?
Yeah.
And so then they might go, oh, I don't need the pool. I'm
Yeah.
happy with the more plants, or, you know, that they've, you know, that there's whatever, citrus out back or something like that. Right.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what I find too is that I always want to start everybody and they dream really big about what the possibilities are. Do you do the same kind of thing? Like, it could just be a possibility, right? To throw some stuff out, like, because it's like I cover all the different areas. Mm-hmm. And then as I'm talking to them about the things that they like, or the, you know, the goals that they have in life, then I kind of will check mark that off as not an option. But I kind of start big. Do you start big?
I would say that I want whatever style they want, but I want it to be done correctly. I want them to have the best. So whether they want modern, more contemporary, or like a farmhouse, or, even more traditional, I want to make sure everything's done correctly. The finishers are dialed in so that, I can dance with them, but quality is where I come in, because they don't have the eye for it. Whereas I'll sit there and say, because I used to do construction, I know how it was supposed to be done. Right. Or,
I kind of feel that way about houses too. Like when you see nicks and I don't know.
They don't see that.
Yeah.
They're like, wow, this is great.
Oh, really?
And you tell them, no, it's not. And this is why it's not. And then you gain, respect and trust. Because I imagine them in my shoes, and I would want someone to treat me that way. I would want someone to illustrate the negatives as well as the positives.
Right.
Because it's not just all positive.
Well, and if somebody's coming to you and you're the expert, they would expect you to, come with some opinions, I guess.
Yeah, I think you start big, and as you start to do the searching, you scale it down. The last transaction I closed, we were looking all over the valley. I mean, North Scottsdale, South Scottsdale, Paradise Valley, Arcadia, new builds, resort living, and they really it takes talking and showing and seeing and feeling to get it really dialed into what they might actually want. Right.
And that's where mine always comes back to, is the feeling. Because, like when you're standing in a house and it's yours and you're going to buy it, it's like, when you walk in or whatever. And that's the feeling. And that is the whole reason I started this podcast, is because I think finances and all of that is so much more about feelings than it is about actual just numbers.
Data.
Yeah, exactly. So you can say all this stuff that you would want in a house, but I know for myself, when I'm looking around, I try to keep my options open, because then I'm like, well, what if we could add something? Or what if, because like there's some houses, they have a certain something that you're just not ever going to get at another house, and then I'm willing to put in the work, versus the other ones. Do you find that happens with people too?
100%.
Yeah.
And I think also dealing with first-time home buyers, there's so much feeling versus dealing with an investor or someone who's bought 20 houses. So I think it always changes depending on the situation that you're in and who your client is.
Yeah, like how sophisticated they are, or I don't know. I'm a pretty sophisticated investor. I still don't know what if I want in a house, I think. Yeah, I still am like, oh, do I want this neighborhood? And you have to just do a lot of research.
Yeah, I would argue that 99% of agents haven't done the research. They just act like they have. Like everyone wants to look like an agent, but they're not actually
like researching and things.
They're not really doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're not shaking hands and,
or testing out the different neighborhoods and seeing what's there.
Environments.
Right? Yeah. Cause it does come a lot there's just different feels for different neighborhoods. Yeah.
And people might think they want to be in a neighborhood until they actually go and see a house there, and then they don't even want to get out of the car.
Really?
Yeah.
Because it's not nice.
They're like, oh no, this is not what I expected at all. Like, I don't even want to go inside the house.
Yeah.
People from out of town, they're like, oh, I want to be in Scottsdale. I want to be in near Old Town. In reality, they don't want a mid-century modern house that hasn't had the, work done that it needs done. And then you show them Arcadia and they're like, oh my God, this is amazing.
We want to live here or whatever.
Yeah, we want to live here.
So do you feel like
all the time? So
your job, and I feel this way as a planner too, is that your job is to like show them stuff that you think that they might like.
Yeah.
And so do you feel like that happens? What's like the percentage of clients where it's like you show them something because you've done the legwork of interviewing them and figuring out what they want, versus they already know what they want and they like send you? Do you know what I mean?
I think I start large scale. Like I let them dream outside the box.
That's what I do. I just let them dream.
And then once we go and view some things and they realize maybe their dream's a little too big, then I start coaching into different neighborhoods and directions, and maybe
depending on their budget and
price
all that.
Point.
Yeah. Well, and I think that kind of stuff too, when I translating it to financial planning, it's kind of like, okay, they want to do all these different things, and I call it layers. You got like the boring layers, and then all the stuff that people are really interested in is more like after you already have your base savings. And to me, it's like laying out a plan so that they can actually get to where their dream is,
What they really want.
Yeah. And so it's like, okay, let's start here, but then just know that the plan is that we're going to do such and such. And I think it's the same thing, right? Like you could help them change the house or whatever, or they might buy another house later on. Would that be something that you would talk to them about? I
would say my main mission is finding what they really want. What's priority number one, right? And then everything stems from that. And then there's secondary missions following that. So it's what they want, what they know they want, what they, maybe what they don't know that they want. And then it goes from there. And you kind of add value in that sense.
Because I know, just as me personally, I live in denial about a lot of things.
Don't we all?
Yeah. Like I really do. And so then people will say, oh, well, what about this? And I'm like, oh, well, that's nice. I didn't think that I really wanted that, but I guess I do, or I talked on another show about jealousy. And that's how I can tell that I want something, is when I'm jealous of somebody else.
Or envious.
Yeah, I was thinking envy.
Envy, yeah. And so so that's a good clue for me. But I also find that I live in denial about a lot of things. And then I'm just like, no, I can afford this, this little thing over here. And then somebody shows me something else. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is a possibility. I didn't think. And so are a lot of people like that?
I think so. And I think also you have to have some tough conversations about what they can afford.
Really? Yeah.
Like, okay, maybe you're qualified to this amount, but this is what your payment's going to look like with an HOA and things. So maybe you're envious of that person being in this neighborhood, but maybe this is more realistic for you.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
A lot of people really care about the monthly payment.
Yeah.
They don't really care about the rate is. They just care about the month.
Whatever the monthly is. Yeah. Okay.
And you have to have those conversations to let them know, like,
yeah, you can't afford this neighborhood, or I mean, because houses, the sky's the limit. It's like redoing my house. People are like, what are you going to do? I'm like, are you kidding? I could spend unlimited amounts of money doing whatever I want to my, you really can. And so it's all the prioritization, I guess, of what you want to do. And so do those hard conversations, do they go okay?
Depends on the person.
Yeah.
I'm good regardless.
Yeah.
Are they okay?
Yeah. Well, I'm saying, are they okay?
Yeah.
Like, do they handle it okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you feel like most people are kind of realistic about what they can afford, and
people are weird with their money. Yeah.
That's why I'm having the show.
Yeah.
Why are people weird with their money? Why do you say that?
Because of emotions. People aren't rational. Really, they have attachments to certain ideas, and different generations they've been marketed different things as to what looks good and what doesn't. And, they're all customers. We're all customers. I'm a customer, what I think looks good might be different from what you both think looks good. So, people like to say that they value a certain thing, but they really don't value that.
Right.
Really,
and that's exactly what I'm talking about, is how do you get down to like what they really value? Yeah. And what we're saying really is just conversation,
patience, and communication.
And I think just experience too.
Yeah. To listen to, to listen. The best way to communicate is to listen.
Yeah.
Because they'll tell you without telling you who they really are and what their real intentions are.
That's I love that. They'll tell you without telling you. Yeah. Just because as they're telling stories about, I can imagine myself on the street or whatever it is, even if it's a house that's not, they might buy it for the neighborhood versus the house. Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And in this industry, I feel like I've had to remind myself, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. You're supposed to listen more than you speak. So ask the important questions and then really listen and take that information.
Yeah, I found that with an agent that I used quite a few years ago, that I was just amazed, like how quiet she would be. She'd insert here and there, and I was like, gosh, I'm so opinionated that I'm like, I need to shut up if I'm going to be doing stuff like that, because you can't be opinionated, right?
You try to be neutral, but then you can throw little teasers out there and be like, wow, did you watch the news lately or something? Just kind of get a feel for where they are.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you just do little
like you in the same
snippets.
way they'll tell you who they are. You'll tell them, but it's the same. And everyone likes to dance. the thing to do is not look for differences, but commonalities, because we're all human and we all have things in common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you think like this just more about getting to know, and I think you just need to have somebody that cares, that they care about finding what is really good for you.
Yeah.
I don't ever try and persuade a client into a home. I don't think that's the right thing to do. If it's not a fit and I've showed you 85 homes, then, maybe it's not the time.
So are these your, yeah, right. 85 homes is a lot. That's a lot of homes.
Were you guys around in March of 21 when things were crazy?
So is that is it your favorite when somebody comes to you and says they want this certain thing, but then they end up buying like complete opposite because of something that you found and figured out?
Yeah.
Is that like that's my favorite?
Well, it just, lets the ego go up a little bit, but that inevitably comes down.
I know, but it shows that you care.
Yeah.
That's the way I think of it, is that it shows that I'm brainstorming is like one of my favorite things to do, like brainstorming about marketing, brainstorming about ideas, And so I love, that's part of why I became realtor, is that people would tell me things and I'd be like, what about this one? What about this one? I just love brainstorming all of that. And so I would think it would be very rewarding if they came with something else, and then you were making their dreams come true with something that they didn't even know that they were dreaming about.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's a good feeling.
Yeah.
I think in the opposite, but sort of in the same sense, like finding them exactly what they know they want. And that's rewarding too. Like they say, I want this model in this new build community. So those people
exist. These people that know exactly.
That they see one house and that's it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not me.
No.
I do not understand that. Yeah. No, I know we're not that.
Yeah. No, but it's rewarding to find them exactly what they want and make it happen.
Right.
There's some people like to go to the mall and just walk around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? When I go to the mall, I know exactly what I want.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't.
Could you shop for me?
I know. I don't understand that mentality. That's good.
Because I've already put hundreds of hours into that about how it's going to enhance me or make me better or make me appear to be whatever.
Okay.
Better than as opposed to less than, and that's really what everyone wants. They want the nicest house with the money that they have available, whatever style that is.
Right. Yeah. No, exactly.
And there's a bunch of side missions. Like I intend to make you money on this purchase. You don't make money when you sell, you make money when you buy. So these things that people think, yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that, I don't know. I think we got some good nuggets here about how to find people the right stuff. And I just think, again, it just takes time in relationships. And Shalyn, you said something when we first talked about how you always want to be friends with the people that you're clients with. Are you the same way?
100%.
I know.
Before everything.
Yeah. And I was telling her that I have a hard time. I have this client now, it was a referral, and he has no interest in being friends. It's just like, okay, let's go. And
that's all right.
It is okay, but it's so hard for me to get around that. And I think the reason that we can find out what people really want is because we want to be friends with them.
Yeah. And I think that depends on the client. In that conversation, the context was dealing with investors where I've gone through a whole transaction and never met the person and represented them.
Wow.
And literally, I'm doing the final walkthrough by myself and they're just not emotionally involved. It's just a numbers game. So those transactions are great, but I do love the ones where we become friends. And get together for, a bite to eat. I mean, and I can watch their children grow up. So
I will say that clients turn into friends more so than friends turn into clients.
Absolutely.
That is true.
Absolutely.
That is very true.
I don't try to sell my friends at all.
No.
I'm never, ever in fact, if they can ask me advice, but I'm like, I don't want to, I don't want to mess anything up.
Further you get into this industry, the majority of your friends become agents. So
true.
You kind of miss that opportunity.
Yeah. But the clients, they do become friends.
Every time.
But again, that's, I think, where the magic happens, is that's how you have, you give great service and you figure out what they really do want, is by all of that, is by getting to know them, So yeah, and figuring out where they're from and all that stuff. So yeah. Okay, I have one question before we go. And I'm going to let you choose.
Here we go.
I know. I'm going to let you choose. So knowing what you know now, what is one piece of financial advice that you would give someone? Or you can pass.
In regards to
anything.
I would say invest in property. They're not making more land. So buy yourself a piece.
At any time. That's kind of my thing, is like, people are always like, oh, the rates are high. Oh, the rates are low. Well, in 10 years, it's not going to matter. So just get in when you need to get in.
If it makes sense for you.
Yes. It just needs to make sense for your life. Don't get so hung up on. There's a lot of static.
Oop.
It must have been your thing.
It's fixed.
Yeah, we're going to have to, it must have been her thing or something at the
Sorry.
bottom. No, though.
Let's run it back.
Yeah, we're going to have to edit that.
It was me.
Okay, so what is your one piece of financial advice with the experience that you have?
Very simply put, assets over liabilities.
Okay.
So if you're going to be spending on money, it has to be making money. Do I always follow this to a T? No.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone needs to know what that is and what that looks like.
Okay.
Simply put.
All right.
Yeah.
And then what is your favorite part about this job?
The people,
Mm-hmm.
meeting people. I love just getting to interact with people. And I also love seeing all the beautiful homes.
I know. We need to have another show about that, about not getting jealous when you go over to houses.
Like envisioning living in the
Yes.
stunning, $9 million hillside home.
Like because I'm a new agent, right? I've used my Supra key thing like 5 times, and already I've been like, oh yeah, I was like, Michelle, you got to really learn how to, cut this out. Yeah. You don't want to buy every house and get jealous of every house. Yeah.
Yeah.
That you see. So, and what's your favorite part about the job, Padraic?
The ability to make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's been shown to me that the bigger difference or the bigger impact you make, the more you get paid.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we're doing it right too, by having friends, like making our clients our friends and wanting to be friends with them.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be heard. That's all they want, So I think it's good. Well, thank you for coming on, you guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, that was good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Appreciate you.
And thank you guys for listening. Be sure to write a review or subscribe. We are everywhere that podcasts are distributed. It is the Me Financial Podcast. Thank you for listening.